Today we're going to cover Great Things by Phil Wickham. This is a really fun song to play. It's very upbeat. It's a great song to start off a worship set if you lead somewhere. And we'll use the G chord family with the left hand, and then I'll show you a strum pattern that will work for songs that are this fast, that'll work well and make sure that you're keeping up with the song. At the end of this lesson, there's a full play along, so you can play all the way through the song and even experiment if you want to try out some things that you're about to learn. I also want to let you know that you can start any course on my site for $1 on guitarman.com, whether you're an absolute beginner learning chords, or maybe you're an intermediate player and you want to learn more about chord families, how different chords are put together, or even advanced, you want to learn more about theory, chord theory, scales, you name it, it's on guitarman.com. So check that out. So you can download this chart for free. And let's talk through the chart as we start out with this lesson. So you can see it's in 102 beats per minute. And again, this is a relatively fast, it's not super fast, but it is more on the upbeat side. So we'll have to scale back some of our 4/4 strum patterns. It's in 4/4, which is common time. And it's in the key of B originally. So the way to play that, the easiest way to play that is capo 4, using the G chord family. G plus 4 is B. So that's the easiest way to play it. You could also do capo 2 in A. That's another option for the key of B. But for me, especially in singing it, Phil Wickham's voice is really high, so for me I have to lower it quite a bit just to get it in range. I'm just going to use the G chord family and not have a capo, so it'll just be G chords. Again, if you want to play along with the original track, just implement the same thing that you're about to learn here, capo 4, and everything will work the same. Let's take a look at some of the other parts of the chart. This song starts with kind of a pad intro. It's really just synths and pads starting with for the first 4 bars, and then you'll see that next G is bolded. That's really where the song kicks in, and that's where we'll start our play along there. And the same thing at the end of the chart. That last break is really just kind of a synth thing, just pads. So we'll just do diamonds at the end of that song, so you can be aware of that. Also on the chart, you can see there is a repeat sign. If you're not familiar with that, you just play everything between that symbol 2 times. So it just means repeat, go back to the first symbol, play through it again before moving on through the rest of the song. And you can see on the chorus, there is a diamond. A diamond is just to play it once and let it ring out for that measure. And then the outro, there's a fun little nuance that's unique to this song that you don't hear in every song. So the first beat is muted out, and then the band kicks in on the second beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's kind of unique, and I'll talk a little bit more about how to play that when we get to it. So now let's jump into your left hand and the chords that you'll be using for this song. So it's the G chord family. Again, if you're fully or completely new to guitar, you can learn that in the beginner series or the intermediate series. But we'll just be using G chords. Most everything, I'm going to keep my pinky and ring on those 2 little strings. I like to do that to connect the chords to each other. So G, C2, E minor, and even sometimes D. I'll keep them there depending. It's just a D sus chord. So that's a nice little trick, especially when you're switching pretty quickly. Now, there are a few quick switches, and one of those is G to A minor. So what I do with that one is keep my pinky in place, and that works with an A minor. It actually sounds pretty good. And then another kind of liberty I'm taking with this chord is an A minor 7. So it's an A minor, but without your ring finger. And then keeping the pinky in place. Again, this is going to help root your hand to know where to go for all the other chords that come quickly as well. That's another benefit of doing that. So you'll practice moving your middle and your pointer from G down to A minor. So if you have trouble with that, practice that a few times, and then practice it by keeping your pinky in place. G to A minor, G to A minor, and again this is an A minor 7, you don't need to worry about your ring finger. And then for E minor, I'm actually going to use a G over E. So G with an E bass note. And then for C, I'm going to use a C2, which is just right here. It's G, but these two move down one. D, you can either use a D sus like I was talking about, or regular D. Either one's fine. And then G over B is just G with the B in the bass note. It's already in your chord. And if you have a bass player playing with you in your band, that bass player would get the B note, and you could just play a G and that would be fine. So that root B would come out over top of your G chord. As far as your chords, that's really all there is to it. It's not too bad. You'll see me sometimes with the G. Sometimes I'll mute out the 5th string in case you see my pointer finger pop off. I'm just taking the B out of the low part of the chord. And that's just a preference thing I like to do, and that frees up my finger for adding some things in the chord, or just having a different sound. So that's just my preference. You don't have to do that. You can just play a G if you want. So that takes care of your left hand. Now let's talk about your right hand. So again, this song is pretty quick. So there's a couple different ways to play it. I'll talk through a strum pattern that you can use to apply to the song, and then what to do with these boxes that you see. And then I'll talk about a more where you want to actually end up with your right hand with any song, which is getting it into what I call a 16th note groove, which is a chug-a-lugga groove. So let me play what it sounds like, and then we'll talk through the strum pattern. So the strum pattern for this song is down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down. So down, down, up, down, up, up, down. Now if you are familiar with the original 4/4 strum pattern, that last down, up is a 16th deal, which you can use with this song. It's just really hard to fit all of that in before switching to the next chord. So you can simplify it by just hitting that last quarter note. So down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. So that should help your right hand keep up with the song. So the chorus, for instance, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. There is a little bit of a pause there. So kind of the next step for your strum pattern, any strum pattern, is to get your hand into a groove and then control what you accent. That's kind of the more advanced way, and that way you can move in and out of different types of strum patterns, different types of accents. So if you watch my hand, again, it's kind of like a train. It's like a chug-a-lugga sound. I can control what I accent. So anytime I switch a chord, I'll accent that downbeat on the new chord so you can hear the different chords starting. And then again, you can experiment with different things to accent. Now, if you're new and this song is just way too fast and you're trying and not able to keep up, don't worry about it. Start out by just playing diamonds, which is just playing whole notes for each chord. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to help your left hand switch when it needs to, and then your right hand at least is getting the chord switch, which is the most important. And then you can start building out and adding to your strum pattern. Make sure your wrist is loose. That's going to help you go quickly as well. You don't want to hinge at your elbow. You want to hinge at your wrist anytime you have a strum pattern. Now, one more thing about your right hand before we move on is that the verses I actually keep on the lower strings. So what that does is creates kind of a droning sound, like a low droning sound instead of a full chord sound. So that will just help, especially if it's just you and a guitar. That kind of helps create a different sound. And then you can open up the chord all the way through on the chorus. So you'll notice that in the play along that you'll just hear kind of low drone. Let's talk now about the last part of the song, the outro, where there's something unique and different happening that you don't see every day. The first beat of the chord is marked out, and then the band kicks in on the second beat of the measure instead of the first beat. So it sounds different, it sounds unique. Let me play the chord before that happens into that one spot. So I'll play a C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can hear it comes in on the 2. There's two different ways to play this. One way is to mute out your strings with your left hand and still play with your right hand the same thing. 1, 2, and you come in with your chord on the second beat. The other option is to just skip that strum altogether and not play anything, and then come in on the second. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's easiest to just keep that groove going, 2, 3, 4. Count it in your head because that's the easiest way to keep up with the rhythm of the song. So again, I'll play the C chord before that, and I'll just mute out and not play anything on that first beat so you can hear that too. So here's the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can try either one. You can either play, mute out the strings and play it like that, or just don't play anything, come in on the 2 and finish out there. Again, reminder for the end of the song, it's a break, so just diamonds there. You'll hear that in the playthrough, and also a reminder at the very beginning, you'll hear keys play or synths play at those first 4 bars to kind of bring the song in, and the band kicks in on that G that's bolded. That's where the song kicks in and the band plays. So that's where we're going to start with our play along. So get everything ready, get your pick ready. We'll start with the G chord, and let's play along to this song. the grave. You free every captive and break every chain. Oh God, you have done great.